Hello, welcome to Cool Gadgets. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the bell icon. Here are different reviews of the people using the 2022 HP Victus 16.1 FHD Gaming Laptop. Customer A says, the i5-11400H is a great processor, and built-in support for undervolting now in Omen Command Center sets HP above most other OEMs for Intel anyways. The battery life in this guy is amazing, best off any gaming laptop I've tested. 6 hours streaming YouTube on battery saver. The speakers are good for a budget option. The RTX 3050 is good to be good for running most games at high settings in 1080p, but in the most demanding games you're going to be limited by only having 4 GB of video card RAM and have to use lower settings, especially if the game doesn't have DLSS. If you stress over thermals, this guy runs exceedingly cool. The two biggest drawbacks are the RAM, and the screen is only 60 Hz if that's important to you. The RAM is only 8 GB, and it's dual channel, which is good. Normally that would be borderline acceptable for gaming, but it's the slower 1x16 RAM. As a result, in more CPU-bound games like BF5 or CSGO, you're going to have some pretty horrendous FPS drops, 1% lows. So if you buy it, I would make plans to upgrade the RAM ASAP. The 16.1-inch screen is nice, but I really wish HP would switch to 16x10 resolution on their 16-inch lineup. The blue color is nice, and it's overall a good-looking laptop IMO, but build quality definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Can't say if it will have problems long-term, but the screen does wobble significantly if you don't open it extremely carefully. Personally, if you're really on a tight budget, I would look for something on clearance from last year, or save up to $1,200 to get something with a RTX 3060. Customer B says, purchased an open box Victus for about $800. The graphics card is great for the price and can handle graphics-intensive games like Warzone and Gears 5 without issues. I really liked this laptop because it can easily be upgraded. After a few weeks, I easily switched out the 16 GB sticks of RAM for 32 GB sticks of RAM. I also added another NVMe 1 TB SSD to the available SSD slot. Now this laptop can hold lots of games and run as many programs as I want simultaneously. No overheating issues, and it is lightweight. I recommend this laptop because it has a good graphics card and is very easy to upgrade parts with for a reasonable starting price. Customer C says, not a gamer, bought this to scan SND, clean up decades of slides and prints plus some video stuff. Got the Intel version because Photoshop is biased against AMD processors. The GPU and base system architecture speed Photoshop up by a factor of 20 over my GPU-less desktop. Have to get a new scanner because my HP G4050 does not work with the new processor. So beware of possible driver issues on older apps. Can't comment on games as I am only into recreating stuff that started things, like MIT Space War and Adventure/Star Trek from Digital Equipment Corp systems. If you can avoid the versions with 256 GB, bare minimum for Windows. Plan on adding at least a 1 TB drive. Warning: Cornell's first law of computing applies. You pay for your ignorance up front, or more later. If you are not competent to open the notebook properly, pay someone who is. 8 GB memory works fine for me. Games? Again, buy enough upfront or see Cornell's first law. Bought early when larger versions were not available, anticipating supply of issues, and added second drive. Don't plan on gaming all day on battery, as I seem to get 2 to 3 hours with things dialed back before feeding time. Might be the continuous fan operation. Note touchpad extremely sensitive and difficult to fine-tune, plus some websites don't scroll easily with it. Plan on buying a wireless mouse, much nicer, and get one with a scroll wheel. Sharp edge design makes for an interesting problem in finding a carrying case or backpack. Power supply is just plain clunky and awkward to pack. Powered ports on left. Convenient while traveling where outlets are at a premium. Can charge phone from computer. If you buy an external DVD drive, get one that can handle the larger 2, 3, 4-layer discs, comes in handy. But if you plan on playing 4K or better DVDs on this, look into the AMD versions, as the Intel chips in the Victus don't have the required DRM instructions. Customer D says, after doing lots of research on many different models of PCs, this HP was the one I chose. I was originally in the market for an ultrabook style laptop like the Samsung Galaxy Book, LG Gram, or Dell XPS. After doing extensive research for about 3 weeks, I decided to purchase the HP Victus and am extremely happy with my purchase so far, even though it's only been a couple of days. There were a few different features that my laptop had to have for me to go through with it, and price was not really a factor. Luckily, I was looking for at least a 15 display, 1080 or 4K, good amount of I/O ports, number pad on the keyboard, and upgradable storage and memory. Since I'm not really a PC gamer or video editor, the discrete GPU was an added benefit, even though it affects the battery life. Out of all of the laptops I researched, the HP Victus was the one that satisfied all of these requirements and was still way less expensive than almost all of the other laptops. Most had an i7, but the 11th Gen i5 is more than enough for me. Since purchasing, I have already upgraded the storage to a 1TB NVMe, Samsung 980, and memory to 32 GB, and it runs great. The only factors that made me hesitant in buying were reports of excess screen wobble from the hinges and the screen brightness being too dim, only 250 nits. After purchasing and using for a couple of days, both of things have not been an issue for me whatsoever. The screen barely moves and is similar to any other laptop I've owned. Previous was another 15 HP. A lot of the reviews that mention this seem to be overblowing this greatly, as the build quality is extremely high, inside and out, in my opinion. The screen brightness is also not an issue for me at all, and I've found that full brightness is more than enough. I also cast to a monitor, so I wasn't as worried about this. The only thing I can't really verify yet is the battery life, since I haven't used this when not plugged in, but around the reported 6 to 9 hours is plenty for my purposes. Full-time student using a decent amount of virtual machines/OSs, writing papers, programming/scripting, etc. Overall, I am very happy with my purchase and would highly recommend. I would recommend this to a friend. Customer E says, picked this up on a discount as a refurbished item. As my last computer was over 5 years old and did not have a graphics card, this is a serious upgrade for me. I mostly play virtual tabletop games, but have also run some RPGs and currently playing Lost Ark. Everything plays great on it. There is a slight decrease in quality when running any games on battery. Not that big of a negative for me, as I purchased with keeping it plugged in all the time anyways. I picked up a USB-C adapter to connect 2 DisplayPort monitors and it runs those fine as well. Don't really have any complaints. Again, that could be because the system I came from was much older and I couldn't even play my virtual tabletop games at 20 FPS. Battery life I placed at 4 stars, since the quality of gaming isn't as smooth on battery. It won't last long on battery playing a game either. Speed is excellent and much faster than what had, so 5 stars. Display looks great, only giving 4 stars. Since it's 1080p, totally fine, and my external monitors are 4K, so I hardly use the onboard screen for gaming. I would recommend this to a friend. Customer F says, can't recommend this laptop enough. I use it for light gaming and for various other things. It is solid. The computer has little to no chassis flex. The screen does seem to wobble when you open it, but I've gotten used to it. I mostly keep it open anyway. The sound quality of the speakers is decent. I did purchase a RAM upgrade to take it to 16 GB. If you're expecting it to have high frame rate in games and play on high settings, you are in the wrong price bracket. I'd say it's a great budget laptop for productivity, and it has the added benefit of gaming on medium settings. I run 2 monitors out of this thing, one of them displayed by the USB-C port. The little i5 in this thing is no slouch. I have this thing running with several documents open and a video playing. It seems to be able to keep up pretty well. I'm sure it would be fine on the original 8 GB of RAM, but for my level of productivity, I upped it to 16. Honestly, it depends on your budget. But if you need a laptop for just under $1,000, or if you can find a good deal open box, this is the one to beat.